Hello. Or should I say good evening? Hitchcock here. Um, it's fitting that I do the Hitchcock impression because this wild card race in the American League is sounds like something Hitchcock would have cooked up with. My plan was to discuss baseball on YouTube after the final day. But given what could take place after all 162 games are played, I have to talk about this. The AL wildcard race is full of chaos. It is. Now, I've kind of waited a number of years for the possible chance of at least a three-way tie. We could be getting a four-way here. The only thing here, why are we in this? We should have clinched our spot right then and there. But because we didn't get the runs in that we should have on Friday, and we got blown out to bits by the Rays um, earlier today, we are in a jam here. Forget log jam. This is just tightly wound. It's almost claustrophobic here, and it's because it's four teams in this thing: the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Mariners. Yes, the Mariners, who haven't been to the postseason since 2001, since WWE was WWF and Stone Cold Steve Austin was the champion, since George W. Bush was in the White House, um, since The Simpsons was only in its was entering its I think it was its 13th season. Uh, it's been a while. Let me put it that way. And Mariners are this close. They are this close. The city of Seattle is celebrating, and this is what just over a week before the Seattle Kraken, their NHL franchise, starts their first season. Wow, there's a lot of joy in Seattle, except with the football team, but that's another story. Um, but yeah, it's a crazy logjam. But here's how it stands here: the Red Sox and the Yankees are both tied at 91 and 70. Blue Jays and Mariners are 90 and 71. The Red Sox hold the head-to-head tiebreaker. So if both teams win and make it, if both teams win, they're in, and the wild card game would be in Boston. However, like I said, tiebreaker scenarios, tiebreaker scenarios are out there. A lot can happen. Now, here's what can happen. Here's what can happen. And of course, all of this, MLB.com has like all the possible tie-breaking scenarios. Because here we go. Because of course they have the scenario if the two teams tie for the first spot, which is basically mostly irrelevant, that would be the Yankees and Red Sox. Because if they both win, they're in, and the tiebreaker would be determined by head to head. In this case, unfortunately, Boston has the head to head, so the game would be in Boston, and that's the only way that can happen. If there's a two-way tie for the second spot, and the scenario shows, say the Yankees get it, say the Yankees win, Boston loses, the Mariners win, and the Blue Jays lose. Well, the Blue Jays lose, they're out because they have elimination number one. The Blue Jays lose. If the Blue Jays lose, they're out. If the Mariners lose, they're out. If um if um if the Yankees win, Boston loses, and only the Mariners win out of two bubble teams, then Boston and Seattle play each other head to head. And according to this, it would be in Fenway. So the Mariners' last chance to get the postseason, they have to go to Boston. And I think I think if it's the other way around, the Blue Jays win and the Mariners lose in that scenario, I think where would that be? I have to check the standings grid on ESPN. I think it would be in Boston. I think it would be in Boston because I think Boston has head-to-head over. Yes, it would. It would be in Boston. Boston has head-to-head over Toronto too. So if it's Red Sox in Boston, then it's in Boston. It was Red Sox and Blue Jays. It's in Boston. Sorry, revved up for this, but anyway, if it's a three-way tie, if it's a three-way tie for the second spot. So say in this example, there are a few examples, but this example has the Yankees winning, Red Sox lose, and both Toronto and Seattle win. If that happens, Boston, Seattle, Toronto would all be 91 and 71. While the Yankees are 92 and 70, and we'd be in waiting for our opponent. In this three-way tie, which would be the first ever, this two games would be needed. Of course, the Red Sox would have the head-to-head edge over both teams, so they get to choose A, B, or C designation. The Mariners won the season series over Toronto, so they would choose second, and the Blue Jays get what's left. Now, this is for the second spot. So Club A would most likely be Boston. Club A would most likely be Boston. Club B would probably be Seattle, and C would be Toronto. C's like the lowest end of the stick here. So in this scenario, Club A will host Club B, so most likely be Boston hosting Seattle. Whoever wins that game hosts Club C, most likely Toronto. And the winner of that game hosts. The winner of that game will face the Yankees, the wild card, if in that exact scenario. And of course, that will be pushed back because you have two games. So so Club C has to wait for whoever wins those that first game. That could be advantageous because you get a day off in that scenario. If there's a three-way tie, but both spots are open, and the example is only the Mariners winning it, the other teams lose. In this case, the Blue Jays would be gone, but the Yankees, Red Sox, and Mariners would be alive for those two spots. And of course, again, A, B, C designation. In this case, Boston won the season series over New York and Seattle, so they will choose first. Yankees will choose second because we beat up Seattle, and Seattle will get what's left. So it'll be Club A versus Club B, most likely Boston and the Yankees. The winner of that game gets one wild card. Club C hosts whoever loses that game. Whoever wins that game gets second wild card. Whoever loses it is done. It'll be A versus B. The winner of that game gets one spot. Whoever loses goes to the Club C designation. And whoever wins that game gets the other spot, and then loser that game. It's basically double elimination. You lose. It's basically double elimination. You lose two, you're gone. But then there's the big one. If all finish tied, and the only way this happens is Yankees and Red Sox lose, Seattle and Toronto win, all four teams would finish with identical 91 and 71 records. Now you got chaos, panic, and disorder here. It says here, the scenario is the only possible four-way tie, and it means all four teams finish with 91 wins, which is the win ceiling for Toronto and Seattle. Each team would choose or receive an A, B, C, or D designation. The club with the highest winning percentage and gains among the tie clubs chooses first. Second highest chooses second, etc. This scenario, the Red Sox, who went 24 and 21 against New York, Seattle, and Toronto, would choose first. Toronto had an even 500 record against the teams, gets a second choice. The Yankees, 22 and 23, would choose third, and the Mariners get what's left. Sadly, that for us Yankee fans, that means if all four of these teams end tied in this tiebreaker scenario, we'd be on the road. We would, because Monday, which is a designated game for tiebreakers, it will be Club A hosting Club B in one game, and Club C hosting Club D in the other. So, and the Red Sox and Blue Jays get the top two picks. So most likely those two will choose. Most likely Boston will choose A, and Toronto will choose C. which means the Yankees would have to decide. The Yankees have to decide where are we going, either Boston or we're going to cross the border, because the Yankees went 9-10 against Boston, and we went 8-11 against Toronto. Oh boy. And that included that 4-game sweep when the Blue Jays swept the Yankees in the Bronx and led the whole series. So that could be troubling. We might end up wanting to go to Boston. But yeah, so if it's a 4-way tie, the Yankees would end up going on the road. So would Seattle. So those 2 games would take place Monday. Those 2 games would take place on Monday. The 2 winners get the wild card. It's simple. The 2 winners get the wild card spots. Well, defeated teams, their season's done. That's it. So those are all the tiebreaker scenarios. Get it? Got it? Good. So yeah, it's gonna be insane. I just hope we win. What I want is a perfect scenario for us Yankee fans after today. Yankees win, and then the Red Sox, Mariners, and Blue Jays all just destroy each other. That would, while we be at the catbird seat, waiting in the Yankee Stadium to host whatever's left. That would be the great scenario. We just need to win tomorrow. I'm serious. We just need to just salvage a win at home tomorrow. If we win at home tomorrow and say Boston loses and Seattle, Toronto win, that's the perfect scenario. Because those 3 teams will be battling each other in a do or die situation for the right to go to the Bronx. We get at least another home game. So yeah, that would be the perfect situation. I hope that happens. We need to win. That's the magic of the magic number being 1. As the late great Al Davis, another sport I know, but as the late great Al Davis said often, just win, baby. So that's what's going down. That's what's going to happen. That's what we have to look forward to in game 162 for the wild card spots. And of course, here are the opponents. It's the series finale. It's a series finale of the team's current set. So in this case, it's the overall regular season finale. Yankees are at home against Tampa. Mariners are at home against the Angels. Blue Jays are at home against the Orioles. Only the Red Sox on the road, but they're facing the Nationals. So that's kind of a cakewalk. So yeah, Yankees need to win. We need to win, or else we're going to be facing a lot of do or die situations. That's too many for us. A lot of Yankee fans aren't going to make it. But yeah, so that's what's in store. I'll be back tomorrow to preview the playoffs and any and all tiebreakers that come from this. Because there could be one for the National League West coming up, because the Dodgers picked up a game. It's a one game separating those 2 with only tomorrow left. So of course that's a simple scenario. Giants lose, Dodgers win. They play each other Monday. Simple. It's the American League wild card that's all screwed up. So that's yeah. That's my that's my recap. Well, it's kind of a recap, but my recap. I'll just stick with that. Recap of what's going on in the wild card race entering tomorrow, the final day. If you want more videos like this, click like and subscribe. I wrote a 4-part series on Vocal about the history of the MLB's postseason. Once the fourth part is published, I will put all 4 links in the description below. So check them out, and I'll be back tomorrow to preview what's going to happen in the postseason or any tiebreakers. So stay tuned.